friend who said that the rhubarb is ripe and it's ready for the picking. She invited me up to the rhubarb patch to come and pick some rhubarb. So I grabbed my dog and away I went. So we're at the farm, getting ready to pick some rhubarb.
Just pull them. See? You go down here and pull it. Like that.
Yeah.
And then you just use the, you know, they're red, so they're...
Ripe.
Yep.
Ready for the... So it was a fun time at the orchard, and Chester certainly loved it, and I've got some rhubarb, and rather than making your traditional rhubarb strawberry tarts and pies and crumbles, I thought I would make a creamy rhubarb dressing, salad dressing that is. And I actually made this recipe, or I found this recipe in 2018. I was going through my recipe book trying to figure out something different to make with the rhubarb, and I came across this old recipe and I marked it excellent, so I know it's going to be delicious. Now, rhubarb is a great vegetable. It's actually really easy to grow. It seems to grow in even the poorest of soils, and aesthetically it's a really nice looking plant, but the leaves are poisonous. So the first thing you want to do, and maybe when you're actually out picking the rhubarb, you can throw it in the trash pile, but I'm going to collect my leaves and I'm going to put them directly into the garbage because I don't want my dog to accidentally get into it. So I just picked some rhubarb that was fresh and that she had for me. And rhubarb is actually an excellent antioxidant. It's known to have very high levels of vitamin K, which is good for bone health. It's also good for your brain, stimulating cognitive thinking. It's also great for cleansing your blood because it has traces of copper and iron in it. It's also very high in vitamin C, which is really good for the immune system. And it also has some high levels of vitamin A, which is good for your eyes and skin. So very high in fiber, which means it's really good to help eliminate toxins out of your body. And one thing that I didn't know is that it also has iodine in it, and it's one of the few foods that do. So what we're gonna make today, it's a really simple recipe, but it's really, really delicious. It is the creamy rhubarb vinaigrette. And all we're going to need is a cup of rhubarb chopped. A cup of rhubarb. Into that, we're just going to add a 1/4 cup of water. And we're going to put this on medium to high, and we're going to bring it up to a boil and cook it for about 5 to 8 minutes until all the rhubarb is soft. So it's been about 5 minutes and the rhubarb has totally softened, and now we're going to bring it over to the other station. So the rhubarb is done. Now all we're going to do is just add it to a food processor. I'm just using the bullet. And I've let this cool down. And rhubarb like this, tart. So to this recipe, we're going to be adding 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, that was exactly 2 tablespoons left. We're going to be using 1 tablespoon. They call for red wine vinegar. I'm using the cranberry vinegar I made, which I love using the cranberry vinegar because it makes all the dishes so pretty and pink. 2 teaspoons of Dijon. I like it a little zippy, so I'm just adding a little bit more. A pinch of pepper and salt. which was not included in the original chatelaine recipe. I'm not sure why, but you need it. And then a 1/4 cup of oil, and I'm using olive oil. That's a 1/4 cup. And then we're just going to blend it all. And my rhubarb is still a little bit warm, but that's okay. It won't impact. You're going to blend it into this very delicious and creamy dressing. Dressing is pink because I added the cranberry vinegar, so that imparted the color, which I think makes it look a lot more attractive. And this will render approximately 1 cup of dressing. And that's all there is to making this delicious creamy vinaigrette. It really is delicious. And my favorite way to serve the creamy vinaigrette is on a salad made from cucumbers, strawberries, a handful of parsley, and a green onion. And if you're making this for 4, then you would want to use maybe 2 pints of strawberries, a whole English cucumber, a whole green onion, and a handful of parsley. So I'm just going to go ahead. My strawberries are washed. I'm going to just slice them up in cubes. Slice them up in bite-sized cubes, like this. I'll use 3 strawberries for 1 serving. And you want to make this as close to the time that you're serving as possible to keep the fruit and the cucumbers fresh and from getting too mushy. But you can certainly, if you have to prepare in advance, I chop the ingredients up. I keep them in separate bowls until I'm ready, and then I just toss them all together. And then you just want to add some green onion. And again, I'm just making a little bowl for 1. So I'm just going to add those 4 ingredients to my bowl. And if you were making the whole recipe to serve 4 people, you may use the whole thing, but what I like to do is prepare the salad like this as close to the time that I'm serving it, and then I add the dressing a tablespoon at a time. Because you want it to be creamy, but you don't want it to be totally swimming in the dressing. You just want it coated. And then a beautiful way to serve it on some fresh leaves of Boston lettuce. And the final ingredient, toasted almonds. So these are toasted slivered almonds, and all you do is you put them on a dry pan and put them on medium heat until they're toasted and they start turning brown, and you can smell the almond. That's when you take it off, and it really just takes a minute or 2. You have to watch them, and it's also helpful when you're making them to just shake the pan to make sure that none are burnt. A couple more. So I think that is fabulous. So now let's see what this tastes like. There's only about 25 calories in a cup of rhubarb, so it's low in calories, although you make up for it in the 1/4 cup of olive oil. But all in all, it's a healthy salad dressing. It is really delicious. I had forgotten how good it was, and I'm glad that I wrote excellent next to the recipe. And that's another tip. If you've got a recipe you like, make your own notes. Additional notes that I put on the recipe was to add more pepper and salt. And I'm glad I did because it is perfectly seasoned. Now for our taste test of our salad. And this is, I mean, it just looks beautiful for the summertime. Little toasted almonds. This is a perfect complement to this salad. You can use it on any salad you like, but it works so nicely with this. The cucumber and the strawberry are fresh and light and fruity, and they're tender, but then you've got the little crunchy bits of the toasted almond, which is delicious, and the freshness of the parsley with a little bit of green onion just gives it enough little spice, little tart, little sweet, little everything. And this salad would go fantastic with a glass of rosé. So that's all for today. I hope you try this recipe, and if you like it, I hope you share it. Enjoy!